The Southern Poverty Law Center.
The Southern Poverty Law Center.
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 Join the fight against hate and bigotry.
Visit SPLcenter.org.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, gentlemen, for your attendance. Mr. Cohen, I was looking at your organization's mission statement. It says the SPLC is dedicated to fighting hate and bigotry, among other things. And I would say that probably every member of this body agrees with you on that and those principles. Where we seem to disagree is that I think for most of us, and certainly for myself, I don't quantify or qualify, like some hate and bigotry is okay if it's this organization, but it's not okay if it's that organization. But it seems to me, in looking at your information, well, let me ask you this. Why does it seem there are no left-wing hate groups on your list? For example, on-campus groups like Students for Justice in Palestine that have advocated for violence against Jews. Why aren't they on your list?
Well, I don't know about that particular group. I couldn't answer that question. There are left-wing groups on our list.
Who are they?
Well, first, it depends, of course, on what you mean by left-wing. But, you know, for example, the Nation of Islam, the new Black Panther Party on our list. We also have certain anti-Semitic groups that identify with groups like ISIS. So I think that it is not the case that our listing doesn't include any left-wing groups. We try to call hate as we see it. We limit our list not by left versus right, but by groups that vilify others for issues or for factors such as race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, religion, or the like. So your list also includes as hate groups, mainstream, nonviolent public policy groups like the Family Research Council and the public interest law firms like Alliance Defending Freedom, but it doesn't list Antifa or other anarchist groups that actually literally call for violence against individuals. Does that seem to comport? To me, that reduces your credibility. Does it not to you? No. Let me speak to both of those issues, if I could, sir. You know, we list the Family Research Council not because it opposes gay marriage, but because it relentlessly vilifies the LGBT community and demonizes them with known lies and propaganda. That's why we list them. But you don't list Antifa. Yep, I was going to finish. Okay. Good. That's okay. Our listing of hate groups doesn't necessarily mean that they engage in violence, although we think that the anti-LGBT propaganda is one of the factors that makes the LGBT community in our country the most likely to be victimized by hate crimes. If you are familiar with our work, we write about Antifa often. We condemn their tactics. I've said so publicly, and we do so always. But Antifa is not a group that vilifies people on the basis of race, ethnicity, religion, or the like. So you're okay with Antifa as long as they don't say things that you don't agree with, but it's okay if they hit people on the head with a bike lock or set things on fire or riot and flout the law by wearing face masks and incite riotous behavior. You're okay with that? Of course not. And I said we condemn groups like Antifa. We write about them often. But you don't list them, right? Are they on the hate map? Could I finish? Yes, sir. We don't list them as hate groups. Are they on the hate map? No, okay. Because they're not groups. Let's move on here. Let's move on here. Okay. Google revealed in a blog post that it is using machine language or learning regarding hate groups and events and is partnering with the SPLC and others in that regard. How does the SPLC work with Google or its subsidiaries to modify search results of SPLC-designated people or groups? What we try to get Google to do is not prioritize hate groups. I'll give you an example. A few years back, Google's algorithm was manipulated to rename the White House with a racist name. It used to be the case that when you would search for the Holocaust or Jews, you would get a rash of information of anti-Semitic information. We tried to bring these kinds of issues to their attention. When Dylan Roof, for example, Googled black on white crime, he didn't get FBI statistics telling him the truth of the matter. Instead, he got hate websites such as that of the Council of Conservative Citizens. So we're trying to say to Google, your algorithm is flawed or easily manipulated.
But isn't
to
that
give
based
people
on your
incorrect
opinion, sir?
Well, I don't think there's any question but what Mr. Roof ran across when he Googled black on white on crime.
What
It's a
about
known
when
fact.
Mr. Corkins Googled your website and then went and shot up the Family Research Council, including shooting an individual there, and then said that he was inspired by your website?
Now, how did you, this building, this organization, how did you find it? Or did you like look it up online, or how did you know what?
Southern Poverty Law lists anti-gay groups, and I found them online.
Okay.
A little bit of research went to their website and stuff like that.
Okay.
Look, we're no more responsible for what Mr. Corkins did based on reading our website than Martin Scorsese is for what John Hinckley
You're no
did.
more responsible, but yet Dylan Roof read whatever he read, and that is held as responsible for what he did.
Well,
and I'm not saying any of them are correct, but it seems like a breathtaking double standard of which you're used as a credible source for law enforcement, and you're testifying in front of Congress when it appears obviously that it's only your opinion that you base your hate groups and citations on.
Well, it is our opinion. It's an opinion that I think has a tremendous amount of credibility.
But no empirical evidence or data to back it up.
I think that's incorrect. I think if you look at our hate group listing and look at the people who we list as hate mongers, that you would agree with 99% of them.
The Southern Poverty Law Center was wrong to include Maajid Nawaz and the Quilliam Foundation in our field guide to anti-Muslim extremists. Since we published the field guide, we have taken the time to do more research and have consulted with human rights advocates we respect. We've found that Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam have made valuable and important contributions to public discourse, including by promoting pluralism and condemning both anti-Muslim bigotry and Islamist extremism. Although we may have our differences with some of the positions that Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam have taken, they are most certainly not anti-Muslim extremists. We would like to extend our sincerest apologies to Mr. Nawaz, Quilliam, and our readers for the error, and we wish Mr. Nawaz and Quilliam all the best.